Jacobsen, Artsy Fartsy Life. So today we're going to do a magazine collage with photos from the magazine. And I have three things. So I love this, the top of this lady's shirt. I love these pants. And this lady's face and hair. And this lady's eyes. So we're going to make a funky lady. I have cut down a piece of paper that fits exactly into my notebook, and I'm going to make the background black, and then I'm going to have a lot of black elements in that piece. And this is mixed media collage. This is mixed media paper, both the bottom and the top. And I have this extra piece because we're going to be doing a lot of squirting and things like that. And so I want to have a nice background squirt, but I don't want to waste all the inks and things I'm going to be using. What we need today, I have some Posca pens. I have some Distress Re-Inker in Black Soot. I have some Seth Apter spray dye, black embossing, super extra fine detail, Hickory smoke, and then Distress blue embossing. And you don't need to have all of those. Of course, you can use whatever you have on hand and whatever goes with your magazine page. And you may not like black as much as I do, which makes you weird, but not wrong, right? All right. So I'm going to start with this Hickory smoke background because I want the background to be black. But but black is like a solid color, right? So if all we have is black, you're never going to see anything. So I want to use this Hickory smoke, which is a gray, and this is a Oxide. So it's a pigment that is opaque. You can't see through it, so it's going to cover this. And it will give us a color to work off of, right? I guess a color. Even in my clothes, I think of gray as a color, right? I don't know. I think maybe I'm just weird. Okay, so got some of that on there. Got some of this on here. I want it to be a little bit more, so I could use stamps to make this more, less swishy, but it doesn't really matter because this is going to be background, right? So let's try this. And Distress Oxide is kind of a cool medium because you can layer it if you dry it in between. And this is still a little damp, but we'll still get dry. So I want to do two things here. I do want to spray on here, but I'm going to squirt down water first, which will help it move. And I'm going to squirt here, but you see I kind of went over to the back because I want to start to get some on the edges of this paper. I want it to go all the way to the edge. So we have some on the edge there. We need to get this bottom edge. So squirt our paper. Squirt our paper. And then smoosh our paper. Okay. So that should get us to that bottom edge. If it doesn't get as much as you want, you can just smoosh it around. Honestly, this is going to have 11 billion. I think there's some embossing in there. This is going to have 11 billion layers, so we won't see this. We're going to dry. All right, I had to go get my stencils and a cup of coffee because we're going to be here for a while, so tuck in. So palette knives go in the palette knife place. Pardon my head. All right, so now I'm going to make circles in the back because I like circles in the back. I'm going to go off the edge because I want my circles to go off the edge. I'm going to flip this around and get circles this way. More edge circles. Let's do some more edge circles. Oh, we did it on the wrong side. That's okay. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. I'm just trying to get some background textures going here. With our black. Okay, that looks great. So what are we going to do now? You know what we're going to do. We're going to first off get some of that ink off of here. There we go. We're going to rub this on here. We're going to rub this on here. No sense wasting that ink, right? Okay. So now we have some black color in the background. And see, it's getting lighter because it's on that distress ink. We've got some gray. All right, so I think we're gonna mind the good paper for a wee minute here. Okay, so now I do want to get some black in the background, and the easiest way for me to do that is to use Archival ink and a blending brush. Black Archival ink is permanent ink. So we're going to get our stencil that looks like this. More dots, because you want to use the same kind of thing all the time. So I got to get this loaded up with some Archival. We're still getting kind of light black here. We may have to go with paint at the end. So we have our paint pens. We may go with some acrylic paint at the end. But I'm fine with this being the background for right now. We don't want it to get too dark. That didn't work as well as I wanted it to, so we're going to skip that step. But we'll keep that here because we'll definitely be using that later. Okay, so now we need to cut out our pieces of collage. And I'm going to start with the eyes. So I am going to make huge, giant eyeballs out of this lady's eyes. And her eyes are going to be giant for the project we're doing, right? So I'm going to just come along and cut right along the edge of the black top of her eyeballs. And you could use fussy cutting scissors for this, but I mean like tiny scissors, and I have some tiny scissors we may get to later. But for right now, that's one of our eyes. There's another one of our eyes. Okay, good one. Okay, so now we need, did I get some black on there? I probably did with my hands. I want the top of, I might keep this lady's feet. You never know if you need her feet. So I'm gonna get her, I don't need her head because we're using the other lady's head. And then we want these pants. I don't know why they have 1970s hippie clothes in my magazine, but God bless them. All right, so that's our, and I might keep those. We might need hippie clothes sometime in the future. And now I am going to use my fussy cutting scissors because I have to get up here in the middle of this. And I know some people fussy cut perfectly, but I just want to try to get everything that's there. I'm going to be using lots of different layers, all different kinds of stuff. So I tend to find that nothing I do actually shows up perfectly. It's kind of an overall look. So it doesn't matter if each little piece is perfect, nor does it matter if the whole's perfect, because you don't look at the whole. Like, you look at the whole thing, you're not looking at, did she do a good job of cutting out those pants? So I'm going to cut out all my stuff, and I will be right back. Okay, so now I'm going to show you a trick that I use. So I've cut up right to her neck, right? And I may do little choppy chops down here just to get some interest in the bottom of this page, and maybe cut off the ends of this little white bit that I don't necessarily need. You gotta kind of do it in a choppy way. Maybe put a little choppy chops down here on her hair. And then cut off this little bottom ripped part. So, okay. So now we have a tiny little body with a big head, but I want a little neck. So I want, because she would look very weird if she didn't have a neck. So I want to take and cut right up to her chin. Maybe even a little extra, just so I have some room in case I want some room. Because while this is going to be totally unbelievable, because it's a giant head and a little neck and a little body, I do want it to seem realistic. So now we have her head. Okay, we have her little neck. Plus it helps to glue it together. Let's see. Ooh, I'm glad we kept a little extra. Okay. We have her little body, and if we're going to do it kind of over here, let's do it over there. And I think we will need her feet. We'll need some feet. So we're going to use this lady's feet. So let's see. And I understand that her feet are not right? Like this lady's walking and that lady isn't walking. But if you're going for realism, magazine collage probably is not your medium. All right. Poor lady worked so hard for that calf muscle, and I cut that sucker right off. Okay, now I am going to need my little scissors. These are Tim Holtz tonic scissors. And I will not be using all these legs, obviously, but sometimes having a little extra to be able to glue down is nice. Because we're going to glue her all together. Sometimes I don't glue everything together because I want to be able to get up under layers and things like that. But in this case, we don't need to get up under layers. We just need to have a lady, and then everything else we do is going to be around the lady. She's going to be the highlight. But honestly, the whole piece I'm envisioning is about the background around her. All right. Okay. So we have 2 feet that match, sort of, which is as good as I'm going to get. Do we want her to have long feet or short feet? Oh, I think long feet. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to glue everybody together, and I'm going to use my art glitter glue, which doesn't have glitter in it. I know the name says glitter, but it does not have glitter in it. I don't know, that's too big. I need a pin. Usually you keep a pin in it and then it won't dry out. Oh, it's fine. All right, so we're gonna wait till some of it comes down. And the nice thing about this glue is it doesn't wrinkle too much. So let's get, and it dries clear. So let's get this lady's head in there the way we want it. Cool. Do we need her tipped a little bit this way? Okay, there we go. There she is. And then we need to hook her pants. Do we want the pants belt or the shirt belt? I think I want the shirt belt. It's like playing paper dolls. Okay, and I have to be careful because there's a little bit of glue on the back and I don't want to glue her to the paper. Okay, and now we have to glue her feet in. So I just, see, there's a little glue on the back. So if we're not careful, we'll glue her down. We don't want to glue her down yet. And I'm just arbitrarily deciding how long her legs are going to be. You can make your lady's legs as long as you like. Okay. All right, so she's all glued down. Now, you might have noticed that she doesn't have whole hands. I'm okay with that because I can do tons of things with it. I can put something right across the middle of her so that she doesn't look like she doesn't have whole hands. So let's put her eyeballs on. Some people, nice people, like to put their eyeballs backwards because it makes it even freakier, but I'm not going for freaky. I'm going for semi-realistic weird. So let's put her eyeballs where her eyeballs would go. Let's see, we gotta leave room for the other eyeball. Okay. Okay, sweet. Okay, so she is looking a little funky, which is what I want, right? This is where I'm going for. Let's make sure she isn't glued down. So now I want her to pop off the page. So what I'm going to do, and I don't want it to be like, oh, I tried to go up to her, I tried to go up to her. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some stamping and use black embossing powder and make kind of a background, especially around her, but I don't want it to be a solid background. I want it to be funny stamps. So I have to find my favorite all-time stamp. Where is my favorite all-time stamp? Oh, it's a good thing I found it, or we would have had to stop. Oh, this is a different favorite all-time stamp. Okay, so we got to find it. Okay. All right, so what I'm looking for with this is something bold behind her. So I want something dark behind her. Oh, heaven forbid. Let's use something different. Okay, so I have some words. I have a couple different kinds of words. I have some letters. I have some type. Okay, this could be really cool. This is a Seth Apter stamp. So that could be good for the not filled in part. But I need something that's going to cover a lot of space. There's another circles. I like circles, ovs. Ooh, there's some filled in. Ooh, that might do it. So let's do that. Let's use that. Let's use So if we're using those circles, let's use those circles. Let's use some of this. Let's see, how do we think these go together? I'll put them this way so you can see them too. Okay, so this I'm dedicated to. This I'm dedicated to. This I don't know. I think it's going to clash with this. And I need something solid stamp. So are any of these more solid? Yay, I found my favorite stamp. Okay, so this gives us a nice solid chunk of black, which is what I need. So I'm going to use this, I'm going to use this, and I'm going to use this. These are Tim Holtz stamps through Stampers Anonymous. This is a Seth Apter stamp I got from his website. And Miracle of Miracles, we are going to use Heidi Swapp stamp cleaner. I just got it. I'm very pleased with it. Okay, so we're going to put her to the side for a wee minute. And we have to find our Versamark. I've been testing out different stamp pads, and this is my favorite. So we are going to, well, let's get her back. So we want, for sure, I'm just going to make a dot here. So I want something here, heavy. I want something here, heavy. Let's do those two first. See, you can always come back, but you can't take something off. So I'm going to do two heavy things first and see how we like it. So I wanted something there. And I think you can just see that maybe. And I wanted something heavy here. Okay. And then we are going to boop, 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 emboss. Yay, yes. Okay. So we are going to use the Superfine Black Enamel Embossing. And this is going to make it shiny, which is what I want. I want shiny. Okay. And then I'm going to dump it in my special embossing tray. Okay, I like that. Ooh, I should have cleaned it off first. Life is difficult. Okay, so I like what's going on because we're getting some behind her hair. Okay, I like that very much. I think I want something up there, but I don't know if I want this. I think I want this again, but maybe these are all on the bottom. And then it gets lighter at the top. And we want something to go off the side because we don't want everything to be right on this page or it'll look really weird. That's where you get like floating. Oh, that's not what I want. Oh, that's stamp cleaner. Oh, I do want this, but it's got this pull-off tab. That's where you get some weird floating things. People are like, my magazine collage doesn't look real, and it doesn't look real because you try to do it in the center and stuff doesn't happen in the center of life. So let's get our very special embossing tray, put her over here for a wee minute. Okay, and I have a video about how to do black embossing because I do it so often. I figured you guys might like to see how to do that. Okay, so we have that. And now I need some different shapes. So I'm going to use, I'm going heaviest, and let's emboss it because, okay, let's talk about this first. If I left this with just the flakes without embossing them, they could become, they could get wiped off because right now they're just hanging out on the glue. But we're going to make them plastic again. Okay, And it's so funny because literally I want my inks to emboss as dark as this is, and that never happens. I'm always surprised. Okay, so let's get our girl back because we want to see where we want to put the stuff around her. Okay, so I need something up here. And I need something down here, right? And then something up in this corner. All right, so we're going to do 3 of these. You should, according to my father-in-law, who was a art instructor for years, you have to have odd numbers of things. I don't know, it's a rule. So let's go. We're going to do this kind of that way. And one of the things I love about this stamp is it's organic. It isn't square because, like I have a square line right there. I don't love that square line. Oh, we set up here. And let's turn this. And we'll do one down here off the bottom of the page again. We're running out of stamp tray. Okay. Here we go. Close this up. Embossing powder. Let's knock off that other kind for shits. And here we go. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. Tap, tap, tap. There you go. Ooh, those, look, we got those tiny little lines in there. That's a good stamp. Okay, so we're gonna pour this off. Gonna have to order another one here soon. I'm running out of black embossing powder. That cannot happen. All right, now you always want to cover your black embossing powder because if you don't, it will fly all over your crafter. Okay, so let's see how she looks. Oh yeah, see now she's starting to jump off the page because we have contrast with the black. And we're going to do lots of stuff with her in black. But our last one, let's clean our stamp. And when I just stamp, I don't clean my stamp. But embossing fluid is glue. So if you don't clean it off, you're just gluing your stamp. And then you won't get all those cool extra lines and goodies in there when you stamp. Okay, here we go. All right, which part do we want? I want it to be a little bit more obscure. And this, maybe we'll do both sides. That stamp has been banging around and stuff. Okay, so I do want it to all go left to right. But I want it to go left and right randomly. And it's falling off because it's dirty. So now let's do the middle. Okay, we want to go off the edge of the page, right? And I might have pulled that a little bit, so that's fine. You will never notice that when I get done. Okay. And then I need something at the top of the page, so let's turn this around. All right, that's good. All right, let's clean our stamp while we got it hanging out here. And it has one of those valves in it, so you have to push it in to get the stamp cleaner down. And I think it cleans off the black parts too. Did a good job. Okay. So we are done with our stamps. Let's put our very special stamp back where it belongs. Okay. And now I'm done with embossing. The glue. I have my block. I try to put everything back because otherwise I get confused about where my stuff is. So I'm pretty organized. All right, so now we have to cover everywhere, right? So we're gonna have to dump this in. A couple times. And it's so fun when you see the, maybe I'll get it. No, we had some up in this corner. Well, I'll make it. Okay. Now we do our tappy, tappy, tap. Please don't get embossing powder in my coffee. I'm asking the crafting goddess to keep black embossing powder out of my coffee. Okay. All right. Let's put this away in the embossing area. Oh, shoot. Okay, that's fine. We put that away. We have one more thing to emboss, and then we're back to paint. Okay, so we need to heat this. Okay. So here is where the background being lighter and having different colors in it really matters, because if we didn't have that, then there would be nothing for the black to jump off of, right? Okay, so now we have our lady. She's good. All right. And the last embossing thing I want to do is I'm going to use these little distress embossing pens. And I'm going to come right here on her eyes. And this is a translucent, so you'll still be able to see through it. This is a translucent, but I want her eyes to be really blue. And this is the kind of thing where embossing is cool, because if I didn't get enough, I can come back in and redo it. So right now, she looks a little weird, and I do want this to be pretty precise. So the cool thing is we can come in with a brush and get rid of that embossing powder right around there. The stuff on the top isn't so important. It's the stuff in the whites of her eyes. Now we'll probably come back and make the whites of her eyes white with white paint. But for right now, I really do only want that blue to be on her eyes. Okay, I think we got that one cleaned up pretty good. Let's get this. Okay, and since I want it to be precise, oops, instead of embossing from the top where it could blow around a little bit, we're going to emboss from the bottom. Whew. I like it. That's what I wanted. I wanted her eyes to get real blue and freaky looking. And I feel like they did. Okay, so now we have her. I am going to glue her down. And you could use lots of things to glue her down. You could even have put her on double-sided sticky tape. Oops. Now we have blue on here. Let's knock this off because I don't want blue to be a part of our collage. We kind of want this to be done pretty well because we're going to be painting over her, or parts of her, or the edges of her. So we kind of want her edges stuck down. right? And we may come back in and do some more black embossing over her to pull her, to kind of pull it into the rest of the project. But I don't want to do that right this second because I want to see where everything goes. All right, and we're gonna let this dry naturally, I think. If she needs to dry, that art glitter glue is pretty fast drying. Okay, where'd that pin go? While we're waiting, let's put our art glitter glue away the way it's supposed to be put, with a pin in the top of that ultrafine tip. Okay, all right. Do we want to, I think I want to glue that down. Let's use Uhu. I want to get as little moisture here on her as I can, because you'll notice I didn't go inside her body and kind of like do that glue thing that we sometimes do. And the reason being is twofold. Number one, the magazine paper is super thin, and what I found was then I would get weird glue lines in the middle of it. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we are going to outline her with a not with an embossing pen. We are gonna outline her with a Posca paint pen. And I have two sizes here. I have skinny and fat. And I'm gonna go around first with skinny. And the way that you do these Posca pens is you have to push it down to prime it. So I'm gonna push it down somewhere that I'm gonna be coloring anyways. And see, I'm gonna outline all of her. And I'm not gonna make you sit and watch me outline all of her. I will be back. So I have her all outlined. And now I wanted to see what real eyelashes look like. So I got a picture of real eyelashes over here to the side. And we're gonna make her eyelashes. And remember, you can't screw up art. So I'm going to make her, and if you're doing this, don't get yourself all worked up and think you've ruined everything, because it's really hard to ruin everything. All right, now I got to try to make her other eyelashes look somewhat similar to this. All right, so I like that. I want to make this definitely like this, and I want to give her more upper eyeliner. So I may have to make her eyelashes bigger. And I want this all to be cat's eye. And I feel like I have a wider paint pen, but I feel like with this, I have way more control over how much black is going on. Okay, I love that. I will have to make her eyelashes bigger, but that's fine. We're gonna come back in and we're gonna make her cat's eye. And they are not exactly equal because human eyes are never exactly equal, right? So let's do that. So now she's got, do we have good cat's eye over here? All right, now I want some Jersey Girl bottom liner. All right, and let's give her some more lashes because I feel like she needs way more eyelashes than that. And we need bottom eyelashes, right? So where do bottom eyelashes are tiny over here. Okay, and let's make her, because I want her to have big, funky eyelashes. Okay, so now, as you can see, when you outline her, like you can't even tell that these are two different kinds of clothing, right? Because we've outlined her. Now we have to decide, do we want to outline her face? And I am going to, on both sides, just simply because it's outlined over here. And I'm going to come down and I'm going to do the same thing over here, which just kind of defines her face a little bit more. I like that. I don't want to get up into her hairline because I want the black of her eyelashes to be the thing. And they may need to be even more. But we also want to first off, we're going to make the white of her eye really white. I think I just sprayed white paint all over myself and all over my project, which is fine. Okay, so that looks good. Do we want to make her the whites of her eyes white? I think I do. Or at least parts of them. Ooh, okay. See, I don't think I want to do the whole thing, but if I do that much, that's good. Okay, so now I'm going to go in with this and make the outline some places more prominent. So I get really a separation from the page. And this is not, this is just looking and seeing and looking and seeing. And don't forget, we can't ever undo. So we only want to do a little bit at a time. Okay, I find this distracting. So we're going to fill that in. And I feel like since the rest of her hair is outlined, we're going to outline her hair. You have to be careful because you can spread your ink around. Okay, I like that. Okay, I definitely want to make all of her outline fatter. And I'll show you what this looks like with this, but then I'm going to go do it in the better light. So that's how fat this outline is going to be. I'll be back. Okay, so I love where this is going. I'm super happy with it. I want to, we talked earlier about putting something over her to bring her in. So I'm going to be using this stamp because it's not as heavy as the other two that we used. And we're going to be embossing her. So let's get some, I really want some on her hands because they aren't entirely there, right? And then I want some in her hair here. And maybe a little bit up here, right? Okay, so let's do that and see how we like it and if we need any more. So now let's get our black out. And we did some up here. And we did some in her hair. And we did some down here. That looks great. Okay, so we're gonna have to do our paintbrush trick because I don't want all kinds of black on her. So let's tap, tap, tap this again. Okay, so we have some in here, which we want to get off of her. If it goes off to the side, I don't care. But I'm trying to keep her forehead clean. She has forehead issues. Okay, so that's pretty clean. Her clothes are pretty clean. Let's clean off her clothes. Okay, that looks awesome. All right, so let's heat her. Okay, you guys, I want to emboss her eyelashes. Don't you think? I'm going to do it. I'm going to do it. Okay, I'm going to start with her upper and lower eyelids. Okay, so this time I'm trying to keep it off her forehead. Okay, love that. That's right, I'm doing her eyelids, or her eyelashes. Okay. And honestly, if it didn't work, it's just a magazine page and a little bit of time. I've already, you know, figured out I can do this. I could do it again if I wanted to. Oh, that is so what I wanted. Okay. Her poor forehead is all covered. What's that? Oh, I think she might have a birthmark now. That's okay. Okay, now that I see this, I think we can go in and do all the whites of her eyes because now it's super high contrasty to the black and it'll draw our attention to her eyes. Oh yeah, look at that. That is amazing. Okay, I love this. Now the very last thing I'm gonna do, let's close up everything. Embossing pen goes back. Should probably wash that. Okay, so the last thing I'm gonna do is, let's see, is there anything else we want to do? I like the white. See, I want the whole focus to be on her up there. So the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go around everywhere and do this Posca pen. And where's a water paintbrush? Okay, so when you do the Posca pen like that, you get this kind of smudgy black edge because I want it to, I don't want there to be a strong line between her and the background. So I'm just going to go and put a little bit of black to bridge that gap, okay? And then I will show you the final piece all done. All right, here's the final girl. She looks great. I love how she turned out and how we were able to use all that black but still have it not feel super heavy and dark. So hopefully you like it. Tara Jacobsen, Artsy Fartsy Life.